lacking for 1 second, bro. Like, that was more, like, it was more intense than, like, I don't know about, like, for you, what your experience was moving on, like, playing at different levels in college. But when I went on to Rick, yeah, it was still, like, the most intense basketball I've played. But that Jucco hunger is different, bro, when you're trying to get out of there like that. And, like, it's the mentality, like, the whole school, too, because at the end of the day, like, you're trying to go there for 2 years max, you know what I mean? Like, and after 2 years, it's like, damn, like, the whole plan was to move on. So, like, you're trying to, like, make a move regardless. So I feel like that was everyone's mentality, was to just make the move.
Welcome to Q's Health and Wellness Podcast, your source for living a healthier lifestyle and developing a better mind, body, and soul. Through guidance, tips, and stories of highly successful fitness gurus, athletes, and individuals who are passionate about enhancing all aspects of life, we provide you with the tools to help you take your lifestyle to another level. And now your host, Quinn Mitchell.
Welcome to Q's Health and Wellness Podcast. This is your host, Quinn Mitchell. Today I have a very special guest, Dylan Holland. He's my former teammate when I was at Dean College, and he's currently an artist-producer. How are you doing today, my friend?
What's going on, Quinn? Good looks for having me on this, man. I love what you're doing out here, bro. I love the podcast. I love everything you've been putting out with the books, the clothing line, everything, real estate, bro. Just out here trying to get it, man. I respect that, and I respect anyone I know trying to do something outside of the box. You know, it's just what you love to see.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. So for people not familiar with you, would you mind giving a brief introduction about yourself?
Yeah, so I went to Bishop Conley High School in Fall River, Mass. And out of there, I was recruited for only two schools, UMass Dartmouth, which is a D3 school in Southern Mass. And Dean College actually was the only other school that, like, offered me. So I didn't want to go to Dartmouth because it was, like, right near where I lived, like, literally a 15-minute drive from my high school. So, and I went to Dean, and, like, the team was really good, and it seemed like a good program, a good system. It seemed like a cool, like, school to go to. You know, it was a little bit further out, so I knew I wasn't gonna, like, know anyone. It was gonna be like a fresh start. So I went to Dean and tried out. Well, I was kind of like a recruit, but not officially. So I went to the tryout as the coach knowing me, and as you had to, you know, still prove that you had to get on the team. So
now definitely. So when did your first love, like, when did you first fall in love with basketball?
Honestly, I'm a late bloomer, man. I didn't get started really seriously till, like, 8th grade.
Wow.
Like, I played recreational basketball probably, like, 4th and 5th grade, but I was never really, like, that into it. Like, I was also, like, playing baseball, and I was, like, honestly, like, way more into baseball, like, as a young kid. And then I got into, like, skateboarding, and that was my thing for a couple years in middle school. And then really, like, the summer before high school was when I really started, like, grinding on ball. And I was pretty trash. So, like, my freshman and sophomore year still, like, I could shoot, but I was skinny. I was slow. I couldn't play defense. I still can't really play defense, but I really couldn't play defense back then. And all I could really do was shoot. But, you know, I had, like, a really good coach and, like, some really good guys on the team, like, older guys. And they inspired me to just, like, keep going. And, like, because it was just all about getting on that varsity. You know how it is, like, when you're just younger, you're just trying to get on that varsity court. Like, that's all it was about. Wasn't thinking any further. It was just, I'm just trying to, like, just outwork everyone.
Got you. So what would you say is the biggest obstacle or just being a student athlete when you was at Dean?
At Dean, the biggest obstacle, the biggest obstacle for me was just, it was just a big team. And I feel like with the whole Jucco system, I feel like it's kind of a weird thing where everyone's trying to get out of there, but you're also trying to, like, play, like, together. So, like, you know, like, it's kind of like a weird thing where, like, you love, like the team aspect of it, like the whole, like, traveling together, all that shit. But, like, when it comes down to it, you're trying to get, like, your tape and shit. And at the end of the day, like, it's not really that fun playing on a team where everyone's just trying to get their highlight and shit, especially when, like, you know, you got to, like, fight to get these minutes. And, like, there's guys that get, like, you know, they've proved themselves already. So you're coming out there trying to prove yourself. And I just think, it's like a different game, when everyone's trying to like make that step to the next level from there. It's a little different than like you get recruited to a D1 school off the rip. Like, you're trying to like make your mark there, and like you're trying to make that your home. But with Jucco, you're like, I'm trying to do as good as I can right now. So like next year, I'm like out there like on TV and shit. So that was the biggest obstacle for me. What do you think though? What was the biggest obstacle for you?
So my thing is, bro, it's like, because people don't really know, when we was like fourth in the country of when we was playing like that team that year. So
you wouldn't know if you just like went to one of our practices. But I guess that's crazy though. That's crazy to think about.
And the crazy thing is, like you said, the whole JUCO experience is just a different lifestyle. So people think it's not like a D3 or D2, D1 school. Like when you're there, it's all a team. Yeah, you're all a team, but at the end of the day, everybody doing everything so they can move on and get to another level. So
exactly.
with that mindset, it was like you had to be a dog at the end of the day. And if you weren't a dog, if you ain't had that dog mentality, they was going to eat you alive regardless. That was like
exactly.
Versus everybody we played against too. It's like, if you didn't have that dog in you, then you was going to get exposed regardless.
That's a fact, bro. That's a fact. If you were lacking for 1 second, bro, like that was more like, it was more intense than like, I don't know about like for you, what your experience was moving on, like playing at different levels in college. But when I went on to Rick, like, yeah, it was still like the most intense basketball I've played, but that JUCO hunger is different, bro, when you're trying to get out of there like that. And like, it's the mentality, like the whole school too, because at the end of the day, like, you're trying to go there for 2 years max, you know what I mean? Like, and after 2 years, it's like, damn, like the whole plan was to move on. So like, you're trying to like make a move regardless. So I feel like that was everyone's mentality, was to just make the move.
And one of the things I know we spoke about before we went on here is one of the things is a lot of players may even face now is when they mess up, they only get that one shot. And a lot of times that can mess with you mentally, because if you're putting all this work in and then let's say you throw a turnover, you come right out the game, that can mess with your head and going forward.
Exactly. And like when you have like a situation like we did where it was like an over-recruited team to where like we had like 17 guys who were like good. You know what I mean? So it was like, but like then like you had guys that like earned their position, and then you had guys that were like kind of on edge with them because like they feel like, damn, like they have like a much longer leash in some aspects, and like they can fuck up a little bit more. But that's just like, that just goes with your credibility, you know. But like I said, like coming in as a freshman, like in that situation, you don't have any. You know what I mean? That's your time to, like, prove yourself that you even belong out there, like, belong on the team. So you got to make your most out of every time, every moment. And, you know, when it, like, the position that, like, both of us were in, like, you fuck up once, like, that might be it for you that night, or that might be it for you the next 3 nights. Or, yeah, like, if I fuck up in this game, like, if I get a chance in this game and I fuck up out here, I know for a fact I'm not seeing the floor when we play like our rival teams. You know what I mean? Like, and no one wants to be like a garbage time player. You know what I mean? So, especially when you're out there trying to make a name for yourself in a sense.
No, definitely. And your story is unique, Dylan, because people don't really know. Like we talked about before we went on the show. You really had like, I forget, we played Putnam Science, and that's when Hamadou. Like Diallo plays for the Thunder.
Yeah,
he played
so
against
that was
us.
our first. Yep, that was our first scrimmage of the season, right? So I remember, I'm pretty sure Aziz, our point guard, he was really good too. He was hurt that first game, so we didn't really have like a set 5 yet, because like we had a team that was like half freshman, and like for whatever reason he started me that game, and I had like the best game I had in my college career. And it just so happened to be against them, but I remember like the game after, I came back in off the bench as like a 6th man, and I remember I tried to throw like a behind the back pass or some shit. It got like a turnover, and I was like, bro, that was it. Like after that, I was like, bro, I'm like, it didn't matter that first game. Like after that, bro, I knew like my minutes weren't gonna be like that. So like, shit was crazy, but.
But my thing, I want to ask you, how important was it during that game, if you remember specifically, how important was it for you to stay in the moment? Because I know I've had big games when I went on, I scored 35, 30, and the whole point is to stay in the moment. You don't think about anything else besides you locked in on that specific time. So how was that experience for you? Because I know only certain people can experience that moment.
Well, bro, honestly, I think it was more of like the setting that game was in. Like, first off, like we knew who we were playing. We knew we were playing guys who were getting recruited like to big time schools, but no one said like, oh yeah, this dude's gonna be like in the league playing with Westbrook in a couple of years. You know what I mean? Like I didn't know like, and like the thing was it was like a scrimmage setting. We had like our pennies on or whatever. Like it was a small gym setting. It was like exactly what I was used to. So it was just like I was transitioning perfectly off of like the summer league and like all that shit to like playing in a game like that. And I honestly just played like the game that I played in high school. And I think like I started to get away from that once I started realizing like, oh shit, like it's not like high school where if like, you know, if I fuck up, I know like shit, like I'm not going to get taken out. Like even if I fuck up like 5 times in a row, like I'm probably not going to get taken out. But once you get in that position, like you start to lose that confidence of like, I'm good. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'll get a turnover or whatever, but like, I'm going to shake that off and like, I'm going to get a bucket next time. But like, I was still in that mentality, but after that game, like, yeah, everything changed after that game, man. But the craziest part about all that was like, we had all of our games. We were talking about this earlier, bro, and I have to address this on the podcast because we had every single game of ours on Huddle. We had our own Huddle page and everything. And that was obviously the only game that I was concerned about, like, really having for myself because that was, like, the most minutes I played, the most points I had, the best game. So when that game got taken down, like, the footage of that game was, like, the coach took it down or whatever. And, like, I have no footage of that game now, so it's kind of just a myth. Like, if you ask him, he probably wouldn't remember. But you remember, though, so I'm glad that you brought that up, bro. I appreciate that.
No,
I appreciate that. That was my highlight moment.
But for real, so for people that don't know, Huddle, we use Huddle because we were in that Jucco setting. So after every game, whether it was a rebound, assist, it was going on the Huddle tape regardless.
Bro, you had to get every – bro, if you had, like, a good celebration on the bench, bro, even if you were showing anything, bro, you had to get everything on there, bro, because – your moments might be limited, so you need every clip in that, you know?
No, definitely. So another question I want to ask you is how important was the preparation that because I know for people that's listening, when I was at Dean, Dylan was like my workout partner. I could hit up Dylan 6, 7 a.m. We would go shoot before class, after class, whatever. We would shoot. And a lot of people don't really realize, because I talk about it on my other podcast as well. When I was at other schools, I had somebody just like you that I would work out with. But when we was together, bro, we would be shooting before games, hours before games, hours after games. We wasn't playing, so we had all the energy in the world. But one thing I want you to emphasize is the work that we put in. How important was that work that we put in, and how did that work transition you into your further career down the road?
Honestly, like, I think a huge part of that is having someone like that you can, like, go back and forth with, that, you know, like you're trying to make more than him, you're trying to make more, like you're just trying to put in that same amount of work. And, you know, like a huge part of that for me was just keeping track every day, because like you keep track of, like, damn, even if it's we shot for this amount of time or we took this amount of shots, like all you know is like you see your progression over time. So with everything you just see like improvement over time, and that was just like the most, like, that was the best feeling to me. It was just like seeing the work that you put in pay off after all that time put in, you know?
Nah, definitely.
Even if you didn't get to show to maybe its full potential for both of us in that time.
No, definitely. And one of the things I literally just got reminded of while you was talking about that is when we was at Dean, bro, I think one of the coaches that really kept us on board was Coach Ford. He didn't really get the credit that he deserved while he was there, but he was really like the masterpiece behind keeping that team together.
He held the team together, bro. He held the team together, bro. He kept so many people from spazzing on our coach, bro, and ruining their opportunity, which honestly, like, that was a good thing that for him to do, for sure.
No, definitely.
He was the glue, bro, for sure. He kept us together.
And that's the thing. A lot of people don't realize that. Like, I remember having talks with him, and on the bus stop, me not even playing, but he was like, just stay ready, opportunity will come. And it wasn't until I left and I went on and I had tied the school record, and he had commented on my IG post. He was like, "Did I always tell you your opportunity will come?" But him just saying that just made me remember, like, he was really the glue that really kept that whole focal point of that team together.
Yeah, and that's the most important thing is like what you just said, that one quote, so simple, but stay ready, because when your time comes, like you need to be ready for that moment, because like you said, and like we said earlier, like that position that we're in, you're just there to prove yourself. So you got to show why you should be out there. So you always got to stay ready, or else when you do get that opportunity, you're just going to push yourself further back than you were to begin with.
So transitioning, how much of a challenge for you to maintain the balance of going to class, putting in work, and having time for, let's say, a girl on the side or whatnot? Like, how much of a challenge is that for you? Because when we was at Dean, bro, just think about it. Let's be real. We was at Dean on the college basketball team. It was, for people that don't know, it's in Franklin, Mass. That we could go to a party every night if we wanted to, literally. But how important was you to stay focused on what you had to do on the court?
Oh man, I'm honestly terrible with time management, so it's definitely difficult for me. So like I'm easily distracted, so a lot of that stuff came into play. But essentially, when you just have like your ideal focus is like school and ball, like everything else comes second to that. You know what I mean? So essentially, it's just keeping your head down and focusing on the big picture. And I think that's like important. Like live in the moment, yes, but you want to be preparing yourself for the future.
Say, what was the biggest sacrifice that you made during your college career?
I mean, some people could say, you could have went to like a big school and just had a great time. You know what I mean? But instead, like we decided that like basketball was like our thing. That's what we wanted to pursue. And like when you decide that, when it comes to like high school, like yeah, you could be nice and you cannot be fully like invested in it. But like I don't care, like any level of college, you have to be fully invested like in that and in school, especially like when you're not like at like a D1 level where like like maybe some things in the classroom they're not really like concerned about. But like for us, like we had to like prove ourselves like with the grades. We had to keep up our grades, and like we had to stay out of trouble, and we had to obviously grind with ball. So I don't know, and at a young age, looking back, like that was like 5 years ago now. Like that's a long ass time ago. Like we were young, bro, and like we were putting in work that like at the time felt like nothing, but like looking back, like it was a lot of work. You know what I mean? A lot of work for sure.
So would you say that you learned any lessons during that time that you can apply to your life now?
I definitely learned some lessons over there.
Or just in general over your whole college career,
like basketball wise,
or basketball wise, or like maybe say discipline wise, like whatever lesson that you learned.
Honestly, I think kind of like what you said, Coach Ford said, was just make the most of like your time and be ready, because that's like essentially what everything comes down to, is like how prepared you are, like how much time you put in and how your focus is. Because at the end of the day, if you're not fully invested in whatever it is you're doing, the outcome isn't going to be your full potential. So I don't know, like when I'm sure it was the same for you when you're a little younger. Like it's not easy because like you're still developing mentally, and like you're just trying to figure shit out. You're trying to figure everything out. Like you're in a completely new space. Like I know you were in like a similar situation to me, where like you were going into a place where you didn't know anyone going in. You know what I mean? So everything's like first impression to you. Yeah. It's like your first day of school. Like it is your first day of school, but you know what I mean? Like first day of school as a kid, like you don't know anyone, and like I don't know. It's a change that like it takes time to develop like work ethic through that. You know what I mean?
No, definitely. So transitioning to dating, because I know you want to speak on a little bit of dating while we was in college, bro. What would you say was the biggest challenge that you found dealing with women?
Well, there's a couple of reasons why I can list off to you why that specific situation at that school at that time, whatever. First thing was like it's small school. It's like the school is like the size of my high school. You know what I mean? So like, any situation you have with someone, like probably anyone else that you would think about having a situation with in the future, she's like friends with her. So it's all connected. So that's just like bad, like right there. That's like a bad start to like you're like, you know what I mean, when it's like such a small situation where like no matter like what, if you're talking to someone, if you like talk to someone for 5 seconds, like walking around campus or whatever, like someone's gonna peep that, and like, you know what I mean, everything's just like, it's so like, I don't know, it's just like small town like type shit, you know what I mean?
Nah, definitely.
So that was definitely like a thing that I wasn't like fucking with about that. Yeah, just like how small it was, and like the same thing with like the hoop is like everyone was trying to get out of there. So like, was anyone really looking for like anything like serious there? Like, let's be real. Like, I don't know. So I can't speak for anyone else, but like, I'm just saying how I view it. So
nah, definitely.
what
So
about, what do you think? What do you think?
What challenges do you find now, like being in a dating game? Like when you're trying to find somebody that you look for, or that you're, what should I say, like has all the aspirations to be, what's some of the challenges that you face?
Well, I mean, honestly, now I'm in like a new setting. Now I live in Florida, so like I'm pretty new here, so it's still like figuring out, because everywhere you go, people are different, and like people, like essentially everyone's the same, but like where you go, like you got to figure out like, all right, like, you know, I don't know, it's just like different everywhere you go. But like here, I'm not really focused on like finding that one, you know what I mean? I'm just kind of like doing my thing, and I feel like not like some girls are just gonna walk in and that's gonna be my wife or nothing, but I feel like if you keep your head in the right place, and like if you're mentally where you feel like you should be and you're headed in the direction you want to be, like you'll find someone who's on that same like level as you mentally. And I feel like that'll come with just experience. So like that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of doing my thing and just trying to figure it out as I go.
Nah,
what's your situation right now? You single
hey,
right now? Or what?
Hey,
the
man,
world needs to know, man.
I got
a
little something in the works, bro. But it's like I feel the same way.
In the works, bro.
Yeah, it's in the works.
That's always though.
Yeah. But my thing, well, I definitely feel what you're saying though, because to me it's like as I'm becoming more successful and I'm becoming more like my status is rising. It's like it's not that I'm saying I'm out here looking for something, but at the end of the day, if something came across my way, like I would entertain it. But I think my thing, the hardest part is finding somebody that I truly trust and really can invest in.
Exactly, bro. That's the biggest thing with women is intent, dude. Is that you got to figure out their intent.
Mm-hmm.
If you figure out their intent, then you know, like, all right, what, like, is this a go or is this no bueno? So like, intent is the biggest thing for me, is like trying to figure out a woman's true intent, because that shows a lot about their character. And it's I mean, definitely it's a quicker way to like avoid like a bad situation or a bad toxic relationship, for example.
Nah, definitely, my man. And before I let you go, I just want to ask you, what is like a typical day like for you now that you're out in Florida? I know you got the nice weather out there, you got the shorts on. So what's like?
Yeah, man, it's
you,
great down here, bro. I've been down here a couple weeks now. I'm working on getting my real estate license, and for now I'm just like working at a bar down here and just keeping my money up for the meantime, and just plotting on stuff future with music, working on a couple of videos coming out, and I'll definitely be sharing that with you, so you have the link with all that. And but yeah, man, just working on all that stuff, getting the real estate stuff down, just trying to keep my options open, and just trying to stay focused every day, regardless.
Definitely.
How about you?
Is there any like a special routine that you follow, or a special thing that you do every day to keep your mind stayed in the right frame?
For sure, man. There's actually a few things, but definitely the biggest thing for me is just being up early and like just, I don't know, like something about getting your day off to an early start for me. Like that'll like change, like that changes everything. You know what I mean? Like you get up real early, you get stuff done earlier. So by like 9-10 o'clock, like you got your whole day ahead of you, and you've already got like 2-3 things done that you need to get done. So I feel like just productivity just comes from like just like being up, and just like taking care of yourself basically. So definitely that. And I definitely try to like, just watch some funny shit and just, try to stay away from like all the bullshit going on out there right now. Like shit's crazy. So I just try to like find some shit to make myself laugh and just stay focused, stay on track. How about you, man? What do you do to keep yourself in line? because I know you probably have a crazy schedule, bro. I know you could get into that on a whole separate episode.
Yeah,
because I know how you grind, bro.
My thing right now, like I just really like my mentor. He's told me to start being more grateful and just practice gratitude. So recently, I've been trying to wake up at 4:30, 5 a.m. and just the first thing I do is just write down everything I'm grateful for. And then after that, I go work out, and then by that time, because I usually leave for work around 7:30, so I got like an hour and a half to spare. And by that time, I'm just either reading or just trying to keep my mind at ease, because with my schedule, it's a lot of pressures that's going on, like everything in the world. But if I find wholesome within myself and just I could work on myself, I have basically like a gym downstairs in my basement. I'll go work out for a little bit, come upstairs, get ready to work. And by that time, it's like I said, I just try to surround myself with people that's like-minded and stays on a positive note, because I found myself, if you keep a circle around you that's always filling your head up with negativity, then eventually that's going to bring you down and you're never going to get
Absolutely, man. Yeah, for sure, man. I definitely think like it's really important for everyone individually to find things that help you clear your mind and help you stay on track, and like try to make sure those things aren't bad vices. You know, a lot of people get into the wrong things and like think that they can find an escape through things that doesn't get them anywhere. So it's about finding, you know, something that works for you and something that keeps you on a path for success and keeping you have a clear mind and all that, you know, and whether it's working out or reading or any of that type of stuff, man, it's all good for your mind. It's all good to keep you level-headed. And I think that's a huge part of just success in general, is just being focused. And like you said, the people around you, because that's huge, because at the end of the day, you are who you surround yourself with, no matter what. Like, if you spend enough time with anyone, you're going to start to pick up things from them and bring that into yourself. That's just human nature, you know what I mean? It's just, you are who you surround yourself with constantly. So definitely surrounding yourself with the right people who are in the right mindset and have the right goals. I mean, that's just the most like ABC path to success there is just, you know, surround yourself with the right people, keep a clear mind, and focus on what you really have, what you're passionate about, you know? As corny as that sounds.
No, definitely not. Like I appreciate you over the years just even keeping in contact with me, because it's like whenever we link, when we was at Dean, bro, you always been real. And I mean, some people I don't talk to anymore from that school, but at the end of the day, I still have the ones I do. And when you're in that circle, and like I said, I've always kept it 100 with you. You always kept it 100 with me. And I always appreciate you just being there for me, even during the times when we was there working out, when we was getting enough playing time. You'd be like, yo, let's go hit the gym. And that really kept my mind at peace.
Facts, bro. I really appreciate that, and I feel the exact same way, bro. And I know there was so many times where I knew shit might have been hitting the fan for either one of us, and we would just like look at each other like, bro, like, and like just having that, you know, is like just, and like especially in a situation where you don't know anyone, and like a lot of times like your first impression of how people are, like that forms like your further, you know, relationship with that person. So that's definitely facts, bro. You said it, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And last thing I want to ask you before I let you go, what is something you're most grateful for?
I think I'm most grateful for family, man. Just my family, just being around and the health of my family. That's like the biggest thing for me, you know, like my loved ones and all my people, you know.
No, definitely, my man. So, like I said, I appreciate you chopping it up with me. Whenever this Corona thing clear up, I'm gonna have to come check you out there. Definitely.
Thanks, bro. You know, yo, bro, keep it on the low. Whatever, you can cut this part out, but come down anytime, bro. Shit's open down here. We're chilling, so you can get down here anytime, bro. But hey, we need to get a part 2 on this for sure, because next time I'm gonna cut out some of the background noise. I know my shit was probably booming over there.
Nah, we can definitely do a part 2, bro.
I apologize for that, bro.
Hey, you good, man.
Shit's all on me.
Nah, you
but
good.
I'm gonna get that next time. We're gonna get a part 2 for sure.
Definitely, bro. But actually, stay up. And I'll definitely be safe, and I'll definitely catch up with you, my man.
All right, my man. We'll be in contact.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Q's Health and Wellness Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe or to leave us a review on iTunes or the listening platform of your choice. Also, please check us out at quinnmitchellii.com, as well as find us on Instagram for more useful content and resources.